Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. This fight was a classic in their first bout back in April of 2025. It was a seesaw battle. A lot of big shots were landed. Conor Benn stepped up to the plate, moving up in weight to challenge the bigger man and Chris Eubank Jr. He held his own. He stood his ground. In fact, he actually hurt and stunned the bigger man, Chris Eubank Jr., in their previous fight. But on the flip side of that coin, Chris Eubank Jr. landed some big shots. I think he stunned Conor Benn at least once. Wasn't as noticeable in comparison, but these guys put it all on the line a few months back. I mean, we're here talking about a rematch because of how great the first fight was. I mean, this is a heated rivalry. It seems like the beef spilled over from the first fight, even in this fight. I mean, every press conference and interview that this guy, Conor, had, that this guy, Chris Eubank Jr. had, was nothing but beef. Nothing but animation. Nothing but real hardcore beef. Boxing beef. Let's be clear on that. Apparently, these guys don't like each other. Apparently, these guys have a beef toward each other. But we can say this. Both of these men respect each other. And that's what it's all about. Both of these men have a high regard for one another. Believe that, especially after they fought the first time already. Now, we got to look at it from this perspective. Both of these men are sons of legends, of former world champions, former icons in their time. And we know that the UK fan base is crazy over boxing. Let's not be mistaken with that. The fans in the UK are crazy about boxing. One of the largest fan bases in the sport of boxing, especially not American, hands down. I mean, anytime you can pack 90,000 people in one location, in one venue at the same time, you know for a fact that that's a huge, huge boxing fan base. Not just when Anthony Joshua competes in the ring. Not just when Tyson Fury competes in the ring, but even when guys like Conor Benn and Chris Eubank fight in the ring. And, of course, they're coming together and they're fighting inside the ring. And, of course, it's going to be a large crowd. Again, this is big money. This is big boxing. And this is what we appreciate about boxing. Both of these guys are going to come in and give it their all like they did in the first fight. Now, I'm going to give a prediction later on. But right now, we have to deal with some level of anticipation for so many obvious reasons. First and foremost, let's point out that Chris Eubank Sr. is a legend. So much class, so much dignity when he walks in the room. I mean, you see it coming out of his pores when he step into place. Then you got Conor Benn's dad, Nigel Benn. He walked with swag as well, but he's not as animated and boisterous as Chris Eubank Sr., but he's a legend in his own right. I mean, these guys were special, and so are their sons. There's another element that we have to point out, and that is the adjustments that both of these guys are looking to make in this fight. Number one, Chris Eubank Jr. hired and brought in Terence Crawford's trainer, Eubank. That's the number one adjustment that he made in this fight. He brought in Eubank. I mean, it don't get any better than that for a guy in Chris Eubank Jr.'s position who's trying to make the major adjustment to make this fight more easier than he did the first time around. Now, I don't know if he's going to win. I don't know if he's going to lose. But we have to key in and look at how much of a benefactor him hiring Eubank would be. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, Eubank is a world-class, Hall of Fame worthy trainer, so it should go so smoothly. But that's not how boxing works, right? Sometimes when you have a trainer in a position of a Eubank who brought up a world champion in Terence Crawford from the ground up, some athletes and fighters think that that magic can be reappeared and reintroduced and regurgitated and reformed again in a much older fighter. And it doesn't work like that all of the time. And I say it like that because when you look at a guy like Eubank, right, that doesn't necessarily mean that what he did with Terence Crawford coming up from the ground up, he's going to do it with Chris Eubank Jr., especially in one fight. Doesn't mean that. So we also got to understand that there's a level of anticipation that should be expected from all of the fans to see how he's going to look. I mean, we look at what Teddy Atlas did with Mike Tyson. It didn't translate into him doing that with Tim Bradley on one of those fights. Virgil Hunter, same thing with Andre Ward, him bringing him up from the ground up. It didn't translate to Amir Khan and Berto, right? The list goes on and on and on. Freddie Roach the same way. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the trainers if it don't go right. But we got to look at all of the elements involved in this fight. We're going to see. And we're also going to see what adjustments will Conor Benn make in this fight. I mean, yes, we got to give him credit. He did hurt Chris Eubank Jr. in that last fight several times. I don't think he switched trainers, but we need to see, because I'm gonna tell you right now about how adjustments in fights usually make a lot of sense, and it works. The fighter who makes the most adjustments inside the ring will win this fight. Tune in to my next video where I give a breakdown on both fighters and who is actually going to win, in my opinion.